Headphones on for best experience. Egypt's secret code. Ma'at sacred geometry and Nile control from Pharaoh to Peasant. Rituals, problems, and genius in everyday Egypt. At first light over Kemet, the Nile is a band of gold cutting through black soil. Before most people fully wake, Egypt is already at work keeping the universe from breaking. In the Egyptian mind, the world is not neutral. It is held together by Ma'at, truth, balance, justice, right measure. Ma'at is a goddess and a law at the same time, the pattern that keeps stars in their paths, seasons in order, and human life from collapsing into chaos. 2. Al-Majala plus 2. The pharaoh's entire job is to maintain Ma'at. If he fails, the gods turn away, the Nile misbehaves, and the people suffer. Stay with me and pay attention. The first formal ritual of the day happens deep inside a stone temple. While the horizon is still red, priests unlock the sanctuary doors and move into a chamber where the god's statue stands sealed in darkness. They wash the image, anoint it with fragrant oils, dress it in clean linen, hang jewelry on its limbs, light incense, and place bread, meat, fruit, and beer before it. To them, the statue is not a symbol. It is a presence. If the god is honored and fed, the land will be fed. If the god is neglected, Ma'at weakens, and Isfet, chaos, pushes in. The pharaoh, through his priests, is offering not just food, but order itself. This is high-level political and cosmic problem-solving rolled into one. Far from the temple, another kind of ritual starts in a mud-brick house with a dirt floor. A woman places a bit of bread on a small clay shelf set into the wall. Bees, the dwarf god with a lion's face, stares out from a rough figurine. Taweret, the hippo-bodied goddess who guards pregnancy and birth, stands beside him. Hathor or Bastet may be painted or modeled with simple tools. These are household deities, personal guardians that ordinary people call on. Fiveable plus 2. Glencairn Museum plus 2. The family lights a small oil lamp. They may whisper a short prayer, protect this house, protect this child, protect this harvest. Around a neck hangs an eye of Horus, or an ankh. On a wrist, a scarab amulet. Each shape, stone, and inscription is chosen for specific protection, against fever, against bad dreams, against a dangerous birth. Fiveable plus 1. For the elite, enormous temples and state processions carry the weight of Ma'at. For peasants, shrines and amulets are portable ritual technology, a way to plug into the same cosmic network with the little they have. Above all of them stretches a cosmos that is not abstract. The sky is Nut, a goddess whose body is covered in stars, arching over the world. Beneath lies Geb, the earth god, fields and deserts and tombs. Shu, the air, holds them apart so there is space for life. Ra sails his solar bark across Nut by day. By night, he travels under the earth, through the Duat, fighting a serpent of chaos to be reborn at dawn. This is not just story, it is a geometrical map, sky arch, earth plane, underworld track. Rituals exist to link human behavior to this cosmic architecture. Offerings, prayers, and festivals are not random. They are scheduled, repeated, and located in buildings that are themselves aimed and measured according to the movements of sun and stars. Now the view pulls back to stone and sand. The Great Pyramid stands on the Giza Plateau. Its sides are aligned to true north with astonishing precision, off by only a tiny fraction of a degree. Modern analysis suggests this accuracy was achieved by tracking circumpolar stars, probably including Thuban and Draco when it was near the pole. Egypt tours portal plus 1. This is sacred geometry in practice. Identify the fixed points in the sky. Use a simple sighting tool, Merket, plumb line, stakes, to track their crossing. Lock stone structures onto those angles so the building is permanently tied to the heavens. Egypt tours portal plus 1 temples follow the same logic. Many are oriented so that on key days, the solstice sunrise, the rising of Sirius, the start of the Nile flood, the sun or a specific star shines straight down a central axis, lighting a sanctuary that is otherwise dim. Over time, this turns temple walls into calendars in stone, giving priests a physical clock for festivals, taxes, planting, and ritual resets. Egypt Tours portal, +1 the Nile, sits at the center of every problem and every solution. It is gift and threat together. When the annual flood reaches the right height, water spills into basins and channels, spreads over black soil, and leaves behind rich silt. When it rises too high, it smashes dikes, washes out canals, and drowns livestock. When it is too low, fields stay dry and harvests shrink or fail. Water history +2 Africa facts and details, +2 Egypt responds by turning water into engineering. Basin irrigation divides large stretches of floodplain into controlled units that can be flooded and drained in sequence. Oriental Institute +1 canals and dikes guide the Nile's overflow, protecting villages and making sure water reaches more distant fields. Water history +1 nilometers, stone stairways and shafts marked with levels, allow priests and officials to read the coming flood, predict harvest strength, set tax expectations, and warn of famine risk. Water history +1. This is hydraulic mathematics, measuring height in cubits, calculating field areas, estimating yields. A low reading on the nilometer is not just a number. It is a signal to open the granaries, cut rations carefully, and prepare for hunger. A very high reading warns of infrastructure repair and emergency labor. When floods fail repeatedly, the system comes under strain. In the late Old Kingdom, a combination of reduced Nile floods, political fragmentation, and economic stress contributes to crisis. Texts from later periods describe times when the rich were robbed, tombs were violated, and people fought for food. Teach democracy. +1 Egypt's answer is not simply to pray louder. In the Middle Kingdom, rulers rebuild the state as a more tightly managed machine. They strengthen the bureaucracy that oversees irrigation, expand use of basin irrigation, and formalize granary systems so surplus grain from good years can carry the population through poor ones. Africa, facts and details +1. They promote a vision of the king as a shepherd who cares for the people, not only as a distant divine figure. Literature from the time stresses just rule, listening to petitioners, and protecting the weak, Ma'at expressed as practical government. Al-Majala +1. Once again, cosmic order and administration are the same conversation. To restore Ma'at is to restore fair courts, predictable food supplies, and reliable water management. Meanwhile, at the level of individual bodies, another battlefield is constant: disease, injury, childbirth. Without modern medicine, risk is everywhere. Healing blends herbal knowledge, surgery, and Heka, magic. Spells are recited over water that is then drunk as medicine. Amulets are inscribed and worn to repel harmful forces. Figurines of Hathor, Bastet, Taweret, and Bees are placed near beds and doorways to guard mothers, infants, and the home. Glencairn Museum +2 Fiveable +2. An illness has physical, spiritual, and social dimensions. The response also has 3 layers. Treat the body with remedies and procedures. Treat the unseen with words of power and symbols. Treat the social world by fulfilling vows to gods and honoring taboos. This stacked approach is a kind of problem-solving we still recognize. When one tool is not enough, you use all of them at once. Egypt is not isolated. Up the rivers Tigris and Euphrates, the Sumerians are also watching the sky, building ziggurats as stairways between heaven and earth, and treating omens and star patterns as messages from their gods. Their gods, Anu, Enlil, Inanna, Enki, rule a different landscape, but the logic is similar. Use ritual, math, and observation to negotiate with powers that control floods, drought, and war. In both regions, astronomy plus ritual equals survival strategy. Back in the Nile Valley, another problem arises again and again: foreign pressure. The Hyksos in the Second Intermediate Period bring horses and chariots. Later come Libyans, Assyrians, Persians. Each shock threatens Egypt's control over its own land and gods. From the south, in Nubia, a powerful Kushite kingdom emerges. In the 8th century BCE, Nubian kings push north and unify Egypt, becoming the 25th dynasty, often called the Nubian or Kushite pharaohs. Wikipedia +2 National Geographic +2. They do not erase Egyptian religion, they intensify it. They sponsor restoration of decaying temples, revive older artistic styles, and emphasize devotion to Amun and the classic forms of Ma'at. Egypt Fun Tours, +1. Their program is clear. When the political pattern fractures, you rebuild identity through ritual and architecture. Restore temples, rebuild processions, repair the story of who the people are. Power flows not only from armies, but from control over sacred spaces and the narratives that live there. Day after day, night after night, another ritual repeats inside temples across the land. At night, fires are lit, and texts are recited that describe Ra's journey through the Duat, where he battles the serpent of chaos trying to stop the sun's rebirth. Priests use words, gestures, and flames to assist the god in this cosmic fight. If they fail, dawn is at risk. Wikipedia +1. In modern language, ritual is their firewall against cosmic breakdown. It is scheduled maintenance on the universe itself. When you collect all of this together, Egypt's greatness stops looking like a pile of isolated wonders and starts to look like a coherent system, a river that can destroy or sustain them, controlled through basin irrigation, canals, and nilometers. Water history, +2 Africa facts and details, +2 a legal and moral code, Ma'at, that ties truth, justice, and social responsibility to the behavior of gods and kings. Wikipedia, +2 Al-Majala, +2 architecture, pyramids and temples, aligned with stars and sun, turning stone into timekeeping devices and devotional instruments. Egypt Tours portal, +2 astronomy, +2 rituals at both state and household levels, making every class part of the maintenance of cosmic and social order. The Collector, +3 Wikipedia, +3 Glencairn Museum, +3 adaptive responses to crisis. Reformed administration in the Middle Kingdom, temple restoration and identity revival under Nubian rulers, continuous adjustment of irrigation and grain policy when the Nile changes. Wikipedia, +3 Oriental Institute, +3 Africa facts and details, +3 From Pharaoh to Peasant. Problem solving is ritualized and embedded into everything. Watching the sky, measuring the water, stacking grain, healing with herbs and spells, marching in festivals, all of it aims at one target: keep the pattern stable enough for life to continue. Standing in the present, we face our own versions of their problems: climate shocks, unstable food systems, political breakdown, epidemics, spiritual confusion. We have satellites, supercomputers, and global networks. But without order, those tools amplify chaos as easily as they solve it. When you study ancient Nubian and Egyptian pharaohs, when you trace how Sumerian priests turned stars into data, you are not looking at primitive superstition. You are looking at earlier stages of the same human project you are living now. How do we keep water, food, and energy steady in a dangerous environment? How do we align our actions with patterns larger than ourselves? How do we design systems that survive shock? The answer they left is not a single spell or secret word. It is a mindset. Treat balance and justice, your personal mot, as non-negotiable. Align your home and habits with what truly sustains you, the way they aligned temples with the sun. Use every tool, knowledge, discipline, community, ritual, to push back against your own versions of famine, flood, and invasion. Remember that greatness is built from small, repeated acts of order, not just giant monuments. To relive and embrace the past is not to abandon the future. It is to upgrade it. When you see a pyramid, imagine the surveyors tracking stars in the cold night. When you see the Nile in your mind, imagine the engineers measuring its rise, the scribes recording, the granaries filling. When you picture a peasant touching an amulet before stepping into the fields, see the intent. Connect to a pattern that is older than fear. You carry the descendants of those problem solvers in your blood and in your mind. Their cosmos was carved in stone and mapped in stars. Yours is drawn in data and code. The challenge is the same. Align your inner and outer world with order, not noise. Study their rituals, their geometry, their responses to crisis. Pull that knowledge forward. Use it to build your own systems, your health, your work, your family, your creations. so that, like them, you can stand against chaos and leave something stable and powerful for those who come after you. Kindly click like, subscribe, share this channel.